It's never about being perfect. It's about being better. Without this pursuit in our life, well, we're just gonna stay the same. And same, I don't think is all that satisfying to most people. I mean, think about it. How many times in your life have you felt that you were doing the same thing? How many times have you gone out with your friends and thought to yourself, damn, I did this last week, the week before, the week before that. Some of us get past that and we convince ourselves that that is the right way to go about living life, that we are satisfied here and now. A beautiful thing. If you have that, never lose it. But if you're like me, satisfaction eludes you from time to time. And it seems to happen whenever I stop pushing my limits. Really pushing what I'm capable of doing. It's kind of like this room, right? I can put stuff all over these walls. I can move around the furniture, I can do whatever I want. At the end of the day, if I stay there for long enough, it'll feel like the same. If I don't move things around, if I don't inject my creativity into my space, my environment, my head, I'll get bored of it. I'll stop taking it for the beautiful thing that it is, become disillusioned, and eventually take it for granted. I've been thinking a lot about taking things for granted recently. Mainly because I'm in a place in my life where I'm incredibly lucky. Where certain failures would have caused many other people to get really depressed and fall out of the race, so to speak, to improve themselves or to push past and become better. The things that I've taken for granted are the very things that have kept me going. That strength, this thing that some of us want in order to either uplift other people or to seem better to society in some sort of vain sense. This strength, this power comes from the foundational blocks that we erect in the beginning. Our family, our friends, our moral compass. The things we're good at doing. Literally our skill set. I'm a jack of many trades. I have spent many hours doing lots of different things, vaguely disjointed, vaguely creative, vaguely strategic. A lot of times I wonder, have I spent my time well? Have I strategically planted myself in a place where I'll have more options to do the things that I want to do? It's kind of up in the air. And because most of the time, it's a daily thing. Most of the time, I sit there and I think to myself, all right, it's time to work out. Then I'll go do something for about 5 minutes to avoid it. And a little voice in the back of my head will say, what, Batman? Have you quit? Or one of my friends will pop up into my head and say, wow, Tara, you really inspired me the other day by saying XYZ thing. I hate being a hypocrite. I realize it's a necessity in order to grow, but I want to make sure that the things that people, the level that I have put myself in people's head, or the level that they have put me in their heads, that I, to some degree, live up to that standard, that expectation. You may be wondering, Tarab, this seems awfully toxic. How could you care so much about what people think? What if there's bad people in your life that are trying to bring you down, trying to do terrible things to you? And I've taken on this voice to say, what do you think I'm going to say? Forget about it, right? There is a time and a place for each little nugget that I'm going to talk about here. And the reality is we need to know that when people are actually good for us, when they're actually substantial, that we should take their advice, their wisdom. We should take their judgments of us because we have chosen their judgments. When we choose people to be around us, when we choose things to be in our environment, to some degree, we give them control over us. We have to understand the importance of that control in order to utilize it. It's a lot like putting role models up around you, beautiful artwork, marrying the right person, having the right friends, whether or not you own an animal, what type of animal it is. There are going to be a myriad of things in life that either prevent us from getting where we want to go or actually boost us in that direction, actually make us even stronger, even more committed to the things that we want to do. But at the end of the day, those things are often the things that we take for most for granted. At the end of the day, those things are the things that we take most for granted. Because those things, those people, tend to be the most annoying in our lives. They tend to be the people or the things that we know the best. I'm talking about parents. I'm talking about siblings. I'm talking about that old middle school friend that still calls you an asshole. And you might not be, but they know you. They know something about you. There's a fine line here. And I've made a video about this in the past, in the woods when I was walking around, about knowing what you're worth and to be surrounding yourself with the right people. But at the end of the day, I think gratefulness, gratitude, that's kind of going to be the boon that soothes over all the difficulties of changing so much in life. Thinking to ourselves and remembering particularly the stuff that really holds us when we're uncomfortable, when we're not feeling so safe. You know, there was a wise man once that said to me after his mother passed away that the world didn't feel so safe anymore. This guy was about 60 years old. And he was, and still is in my head, a very strong individual, someone that's driven and upholding their end of the bargain for their family and the people that they care about. And for him to say something like that to me just makes me realize how often in life it's so easy to just keep going, like the daily motion, keep going and kind of peter out because we don't have that constant reminder, that thing that goes, hey, you listen up. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to uphold something in this world that requires you. Another thing also comes to mind. Someone said on an Instagram post a long time ago, I remember watching, that men in particular need to be needed. Meaning there is something inside of us that gets really, really sad and unstable when we feel that we are not a necessary component of a particular system that we need. A system that we require to be loved or to feel substantial in any sort of way. For many of us, that's our family, that's our homes. For some of us, it's our careers. And for very few of us, it's our whole lives. The little things, the little roles that we play are just as important as the bigger roles. One of my friends, actually, I was talking to him about his concept of spiral dynamics, which apparently is essentially a continuum of learning and improving and changing worldview and circumstance, a thing that propels us and keeps us perpetually interested in life. The spiral dynamics that play a major role in every sort of association in our lives and any sort of deeper understanding that we acquire. They require an understanding of the things that we take for granted. The things that we know are our pillars. We need to know those things, and we need to strengthen them constantly. Otherwise, we will end up weaker than we assume we are when our foundation isn't being maintained. So I wanted to make this video to hopefully convey to you that there are things in your life that you may potentially not be giving as much attention to. And these are the same things that actually motivate us to become greater in life, in my opinion. So if you want to hack your system, if you want to hack yourself into becoming different than you are, better or worse, however you want to do it, pay attention to those foundational pillars, the things that keep you going, build them up, and you will necessarily be stronger in the process. I hope this message finds you well. Smash that like button and check out this video if you have some time. I make them almost every day. I hope this video finds you well. Actualize your potential, my friend. This world needs you. Take care.